4, the new member of Channel 4's Action News.
ABC Sports. Join us this February when the world comes to America for the 1980 Winter Olympics.
In 1977, Denver had to beat Pittsburgh to get to the Super Bowl, and they did it by pressurizing Bradshaw and with the hawk-like play of linebackers like Tommy Jackson. And they did it with offense, too, like Morton hitting Riley Odoms for a touchdown. So, Denver 34, Pittsburgh 21, but that was 77. Last year, Pittsburgh had to beat Denver if Pittsburgh was to get to the Super Bowl, and they did it with bone-crushing play, as you saw there, containing Norris Weiss, and again, as you see there. And they did it, too, with an offense that protected Bradshaw. Plenty of time. Scramble a bit, but able to throw downfield for a score like this one to the brilliant John Stallworth. Touchdown. And so last year, it was Pittsburgh over Denver. The score 33-10. Now tonight, these two rivals, top teams, top contenders, each dreaming of Super Bowl, meet again on Monday Night Football.
Thanks. Thanks, Howard. Howard from the field. We got an excellent off-the-field guest here. Flew in from Chicago.
Hey, it's Uncle Jay.
Uncle Jay, welcome to the show. What an intro. Who was that? Howard Cosell?
Yes, Howard Cosell. I believe he got canned for what would they consider a racial slur these days.
Live on the air?
On the air. Joe White, Atlanta Falcons return man, was bringing the ball back, or Joe Washington, and Howard, I don't want to repeat it because I don't want to get in trouble.
No.
But it was tame at the time, but has something to do with monkey and returning a football, but Howard said, look at the little monkey go, and I think a week later he got fired.
Wow.
And he was banished from Jimmy the Greek.
Was this in the 80s?
Yeah, well, when he was on this, whenever he got fired from the show, it was, I'm not sure when Howard Cosell got fired. Oh, we're gonna look it up.
Wow, he did say that.
Yeah, I wasn't making it up.
Setting the record straight. It doesn't. 1973.
Oh, so he didn't get fired for it right away.
1973.
I thought he did. My bad. I apologize.
He said it again in 1982.
Oh, maybe that's what got him canned.
He said it again. He called him a little monkey and said, while praising his fielding skills, said that little monkey can really
run
Pickett.
Oh, Wilson Pickett. Mustang Sally. Great tune. Anyway, wow. It's amazing what they got away with back then, I guess.
That's a crazy little bit. Well, that's a crazy little intro. We're here with Uncle Jay.
Uncle Jay, hey.
Dropping a little history on us, having a little fun with the intro there, too. That was Howard Cosell and the Steelers. That was a lot of, oh my gosh, Jack, what's going on here?
Trevor Lawrence
is walking back, struggling to the locker room.
Season looks like.
Oh my god, he looks like he's out for the season.
Yeah, with getting chauffeured into the locker room. Wow, well, alert, breaking news.
That's going to hurt Herbie's chances and multiple scoregasms chances to maybe not finish in last place.
Oh, and I have Calvin Ridley and ETN.
Yikes.
Uh-oh.
Well, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the show.
Wow, what a start.
And now we're going to break into the Week 13 recap here with Uncle Jay. We'll start off with Best Physique of the Week for Social Propaganda. I called it. I thought it was going to be a slugfest. It started out that way, did not finish that way.
Well, Social Propaganda didn't drop enough leaflets out in Union Pier, New York. That's where Physique is hanging out
Philly.
now. Philly. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's ringing the Liberty Bell. Good for him.
Mr. Hee-Haw Danky is out in New York.
Oh, it's Danky. Dank Shadows. Okay.
So, funny enough, though, Zeke tried to start my Horcrux Tyler Algier, But he wasn't able to get any points because little did he know, me and Al Geyer, he's got a deal. He's getting a ring this year for when after I pull it all off. That's why he did not produce. Zeke thought he was getting the plays from me this week. Really, I was taking down plays, setting things up for next time, because guess what? I'm going to be like the San Francisco 49ers and just flip the script once playoff comes, because he's already showed all he's got. Once playoff comes, I'm knocking him out. But who would you rather start this week, Uncle Jay? Travis Kelce or CeeDee Lamb? Typically, don't look.
Okay, well, I would historically go with Kelce, but Lamb and Dak, Duke, Prescott are on fire. How could you bet against that?
And that was the right answer this week. CeeDee Lamb, 26 points to Travis Kelce's 10 points. Quiet week for Kelce and Mahomes. I think you know something about that, don't you?
Oh, my auction league, I went all in on Mahomes and Kelce. Probably $40 for both, and yeah, I'm in last place. The Bone Crushers are in last place.
What's interesting is that in our league, Kelce owner's in first place, Mahomes owner in second place, but you have both of them combined.
Yes, both of them combined were my 1-2 punch.
And you are not Captain Planet.
Oh God, I'm 4-8.
Yikes. We'll move on to the next match. Well, before we sum up that, it looks like Physique's going to move on to 10, 11, and 3. I'm sorry, 11 and 2. I have it written down here. I'm not reading it. 11 and 2. Zeke's going to stay in first place for sure this week. We'll take a look later and see what's going on with Danky Punch and the Walkers, and if Walkers might be storming back. We'll talk about that later. Next match. Social Propaganda loses, falls to 8 and 5. Still, I think, locked up third or fourth place, locked for playoffs. We're just looking forward to next week. Let's get to the playoffs. Big old titties, the next matchup with a big week against Sharp Fingers, who was too busy itching his butt and must have just clipped his nails. Big old Uncle Teddy, Uncle Jay, Little Teddy dominated. But who would you rather start this week, Uncle Jay? Devonta Smith or Tank Dell?
Well, I'd go with Devonta Smith. I have him on one team. Tank Dell, I don't have, but I know he's...
You would go with Devonta Smith. Well, that was the right answer this week. 20 points versus Tank Dell 0. Tank Dell also breaking his leg or his ankle. He's going to be out for the season. Austin's going to be losing a big wide receiver in Tank Dell, but gaining a new one, and Justin Jefferson coming back from the bye. How big do you think that's going to be for Sharp Fingers?
Not very big, because Kirk Cousins is not throwing to him, but he's got a chance. Whoever's behind the wheels, the center, I should say, will have another second, obviously the best target that the Vikings have. So I think he should get some action, but just like when Aaron Rodgers went down, Garrett Wilson lost his elite mojo, his top tier status. Not that he ever hit, he dropped a notch soon as Aaron Rodgers went out.
Let's take a look at Teddy's week here. He got 60 points out of his quarterbacks combined. And then on top of that, Derrick Henry, 25 points. Devonta, 20 points. Those are, if you got one of your running backs, one of your wide receivers popping off, and both of your quarterbacks in the top 5 of scoring, you're going to win every week.
Well, this is the vintage titties that I know and love the most. Scoring with the running backs, scoring with the QBs. Past champion. He does know how to bring home the bacon.
We'll move on to, before we go to that, we'll summarize. Big old titties is going to get the win here. They're going to move on to 5 and 8, and they're going to match Sharp Fingers at 5 and 8. Very interesting. All of a sudden, Sharp Fingers has slid back. Big old titties is sliding right back into that little picture. I don't think he's in the playoff picture, but Sharp Fingers is not yet out of it. But big old titties, he might be. But we'll take a look after this week on points forward. It's going to be definitely a major change. Some of the people who are far back might have a chance. We'll talk about that later. Sharp Fingers, like I said, 5 and 8. Moving on to the next match. Union Peer Machines taking on the Scoregasms, 124 to 173.
Wow.
Holy shit. The lowest score, the worst team in the league, the team that has the worst record, might have put up the highest score of the league, and one of his guys put up 0.
Wow. That's amazing. A 0. So anything can happen with a player with 0.
stunning. He got 50 points almost out of Chuba Hubbard and Devin Achane.
Wow.
Look at that. And then Trevor Lawrence, who just lost for the rest, he probably just lost him for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But 25 points out of Trevor, nothing out of Marquise. Debo with 33. Does Debo do that again?
Unlikely, but, not to steer off course a little too much, I got a parking ticket once on 173rd in Harlem. So I like 173. Is that a season high point total for anyone?
Wow. Uncle Jay, who would you have rather started this week? Devin Singletary or Marquise Brown? Not knowing their scores.
Well,
not knowing their scores.
I would go with Devin Singletary.
For the running back?
Right, because Marquise Brown is a wide receiver, I believe, right?
But he's playing with your favorite quarterback that you did not trade for,
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray.
Yeah, no faith. I'm not a religious man, but I would become religious for Kyler Murray at this point. I see Jesus in the future.
Well, you would have been right.
Murray.
Devin Singletary put up 4.5 points to Marquise Brown 0. Union Pier Machines, though, put up 124. Good week of points for them. They are saying that all they can do now is stack points so they can try and make the playoffs by points for at the very least. I think they got a chance to do it here. Dak Prescott has been on fire. And Jamar Chase had up a great week. 22 points.
Wow, I wouldn't expect that with the backup QB, but 22 points is 22 points. You can't argue with that. And the Cincinnati QB is going to be a target for somebody.
And look at Jack's running backs. Pollard and Kyra Williams going great. 15 and 18. That's a solid day at the office.
Yeah, Jack, hit a home run with those two. Unfortunately, he went up against a buzzsaw this week.
In Scoregasms, who's going to move on to 3 and 10. And Jack's going to slide back to 6 and 7.
Ooh.
Wow, that's going to affect the standings. We won't know about that till tomorrow, till Tuesday, how that bears out with points for. I didn't do the math. I just have the potential.
Yeah, we're doing this a little early.
We're live.
We're live.
In fact, the game's still going. We just watched Trevor Lawrence walk off injured.
I'm still drinking and awake at 10 o'clock on a Monday night.
I know, let's go.
I'm usually falling asleep at
Moving on into the next match, we got Jamaican Shamans lose. It looks like they're losing right now only by 3 points. They might pull it off.
So this one is
There's
undecided.
a chance that Shamans can still pull it off against My Name's Bruce.
Who do they got left?
They got Jake Browning going. Who has 24 points as a backup.
How much time is left?
2 minutes and 28 seconds left in the game.
Who's got the ball?
Who's got the ball? We'll find out here.
Yeah, I haven't been paying attention.
Oh my goodness! If they got a chance to win, let's just take a quick peek here. Bengals are winning. Jacksonville probably has the ball.
Well,
so that's probably going to end that way.
If they're winning, yeah,
that's probably going to end that way.
In handoff mode.
But if Jacksonville scores and puts the ball back into Jake Browning's hands, wow, we might see a barn burner. But at the moment, it looks like Shamans are going to end up 3 and 10, and My Name's Bruce is going to move up to 7 and 6. And what's funny for Bruce is if he does get this win, close win for Bruce. Bruce has been in close games all season long. He lost some heart-breaking games, and he's won some heartbreaking games. It's gone both ways for him, but he's got to be the closest I've seen to like a Seattle team, or a Vikings team of last year, where they're that one-score team that just makes that playoffs. They always got a shot.
Well, it's the parity, in the throughout the league, especially in fantasy or the real football,
beat hard. That's the
players to grab. Bruce does a good job at filling his roster, with guys that he finds. I see Christian Watson, my old guy, 24
points for Christian Watson.
I bailed out on him,
but that's probably his best week.
And Jalen Warren
since his week coming back.
The guys, could I have traded them? Sure, but they weren't producing for me at that time. But that's how this rolls. You pick and cut guys left and right.
It'd be funny in your league. We could talk about it later, but No trades. That could be a funny little wrinkle.
I thought I texted you on the other.
We'll talk about that later. That's a little tease. That's a little tease. We got a fun little
tease.
We got a fun little future for you guys.
Show some leg. Oh, we're not on camera. Oh, okay.
I left my. Sorry, I'm not wearing any pants.
Oh, that's my line, you bastard.
All right, boys. So Shamans looks like they're going to slide out. They might get the loss here, 3-10. They might be sliding into last place here if Scoregasms gets this big win. And no, they'll be also 3-10. They'll be vying for last place there. Power Walkers look. Sorry, I skipped one right there. But it does look like Bruce is going to win. Who would you rather start this week, though, Uncle Jay? And I think you've had this player, so it's going to be fun. Who would you rather start? Javonte Williams or Jalen Warren?
Javonte. I got him in another league. I would have taken Javonte.
Well, that was the right answer this week. Javonte with 8.5, Jalen with 6.0. He's been anointed as the Pittsburgh _1, but not looking good this week.
Now, in the other league that I cut Jalen Warren, nobody's picked him up.
How about this? Cowboys, -1 point.
Well, from the #1 defense in the league, you're going to get that lump every once in a while, but hopefully that doesn't happen during the playoffs because, Dallas, I would ride Dallas all season long if I had a chance to grab him.
Right. Do you think Jeffrey made a mistake by dropping him?
Absolutely.
You can swear and I swear.
No,
you can swear.
Yeah. Jeffrey was hitting the crack pipe or something that night because just like Bruce having to cut, Justin Fields, but whatever happened.
It might work out for Bruce this week
you
because
shouldn't have to cut good players.
But
like
if Bruce
that.
didn't, but Bruce made the mistake. But Bruce made the mistake of picking up 2 quarterbacks that had the bye on the same week. He traded for Justin Fields, right?
I didn't know that part.
So, here's what happened with Bruce this week.
You shouldn't have to cut a stud player like that for the bye week. That's completely insane.
Well, Bruce is only getting this win by the edge of his chinny chin chin. And take a look. We'll talk about your league, but Bruce ends up dropping Justin Fields. He keeps Lamar Jackson. They both have buys this week, right? He traded for Justin, knowing that.
Okay. Well, again,
But he drops him, picks up Russell.
You shouldn't be penalized for that.
But we can only carry 2, right?
I mean, you shouldn't have been penalized for that.
Should we allow 3? But should we allow 3 quarterbacks at that point? But that ruins our.
That's another discussion. Let's keep rolling.
I would say not because it ruins the free agent. There's always that rental. QB.
There's got to be some type of challenge in any competition.
And lots of people look. He ran Isaiah Pacheco in his OP 19.8, and he gets versus 2 quarterbacks and gets the win.
Yeah.
It doesn't always take 2 quarterbacks to win.
In my 8-man league, Derek Carr's still available. Russell Wilson's available. Jalen Warren.
It's an 8-man league versus a 12-man league, right?
Yeah.
But we don't exactly have the longest bench.
Drake London's available.
That's no surprise.
Yeah, he got cut by week 5.
Honestly, no surprise. None of that.
Same with the tight end.
I'm sure people were thinking about cutting Bijan Robinson. I bet the guy was thinking about cutting Bijan Robinson.
No, whoever had him hung on because especially in the auction, he was #1.
Wow. He was number 1. Wow. So they pony up. We'll talk about that a little later.
$1 more than Christian McCaffrey.
Jeez. Oh man. And you had Christian McCaffrey.
I got him in the snake draft. I couldn't afford him with Mahomes and the Kels.
Right.
That's why I had to get Nick Chubb.
If Jacksonville scores, Shamans has a chance to beat Bruce. So we'll monitor that as it goes on. Unlikely though. Danky Punch. We'll move on to the next match. Danky Punch looks like they're going to get the win and move on to 9-4. Power Walker's going to move on to 9-4 too. Danky Punch is going to move above me. He's going to be in 3rd place. I'll be in 4th place. Unfortunate for the social propaganda, but very fortunate for Team Heat.
My baby does the danky.
Who would you rather have in any given week, Uncle Jay? Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes?
Jalen Hurts.
Every game this season.
Hurts is the MVP.
This season, would you rather have him? Guess what? He's QB2 to Josh Allen's QB1.
I'd rather have Jalen Hurts jockstrapped than Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes, QB8. He was QB13 last week.
Only because I paid dearly for him. He hasn't performed like a #1. How Jeffrey's in 1st place, I don't know, because when he took Mahomes with the 1st pick, in every league I've been in prior to that, whoever took a quarterback in the first round has been doomed. But Jeffrey somehow pulled it off. But again, this flex league double super quarterback thing, I haven't figured out yet, obviously.
No.
Otherwise, I'd own all you bitches.
You're trying. You're definitely trying.
Oh, yeah, you know. And the other thing with the no fee waiver wire, you know, that's why you can make 1,000 moves, and you know, every week we get a new kicker or a defense. But if there was a fee,
what if you had to pay money?
$1 fee for every waiver move, that would change everybody's.
Wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
What if you had to pay $1 per move?
$1 per move.
We'll talk about this at the end of the podcast.
Yep, that's the second league.
No, this could be first league shit too. Because we got a couple of things that people were talking about for the first league. People were talking about, hey, if you put up a guy who puts up 0,
like we saw,
and if you like, or maybe last week, if you got a guy who puts up 0, that's a penalty. Maybe you pay a penalty fine.
But you win. You should get a bonus,
right?
You should get a $10 reward.
I don't know. We can definitely we can figure some wrinkles. But back to the match.
Squirrel.
But that's a little tease for the end. Their Danky Punch though, 128 to 121, 9-4, 9-4. Who would you rather have this week, Samaje Perine or Tyler Lockett?
Ooh, I'd go with Tyler.
Yeah, I would rather have Tyler Lockett most of the season.
Well, only because he's a good wide receiver. Perine's number 2 RB in my head.
Well, I got another one for you. Who would you rather have, Amon-Ra or Puka Nacua?
Amon.
Well, this week, Amon-Ra was not the answer. Puka put up 21 points, also limped off the field and came back.
Puka's the surprise rookie of the year waiver wire pickup by far.
Didn't you get Elijah Mitchell the one year before, and he was a stud for you too?
Well, for a couple games, but yeah, he was the waiver wire pickup. So
you're no stranger to this phenomenon.
Yeah, the diamond in the rough.
But Jeffrey nailed them this year with Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
He also nailed it with C.J. Stroud, but traded him to Zeke.
Austin. You live and learn, you know, it's just a game. I'm hoping we're all entertained by it.
All right, we'll move on to the last match of the week. Fibonacci sequence 54 to 113. Fibonacci has done this all season long
hey, that's me.
Fibonacci's done this all season long where some weeks he just does not score a lot of points. He might just get the win. This week, not the case. He runs into a buzzsaw in Goon Squad. You've been kind of this quiet. I feel like you're a little better in your record, but the funny thing is you're only going to be 5-8, which matches Sharp Fingers and Titties.
Well, you know, it's about entertaining myself first and foremost, but with all the things out of your control, you know, I tried, and, you know, once certain guys went out or were cold, blah, 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 you know, my team just wasn't as good. And
it's your wide receivers, Uncle Jay. That's where you got let down because, honestly, you have a top 10 quarterback in Jordan Love.
Well, he's only become top 10, but he started off good. Anyway. Anyway.
You got great running backs, but your wide receivers, you had Garrett Wilson. You lost him week 1.
Yeah.
When Elliott lost Aaron Rodgers week 1, you lost Aaron Rodgers too.
I was going to say Brett Favre, but yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
And Calvin Ridley, you asked him to be something more than he's been.
Right. I overguessed in that he should have been a wide receiver too.
He was maybe
a 3. He was my wide receiver. He was my wide receiver too.
This is a 3 point when you're putting up 1 point. This is Gabe Davis numbers. 4.6, 17. This is Gabe Davis.
I should be forced to wear a dress because he got a 1, you know.
Well, that's where I think you got let down. Your wide receivers let you down. But look at your running backs. You got your run forward. You lucked into him.
I hit it on the running backs, but I blew it on everything else.
I just didn't work there.
It wasn't a good year for me drafting.
Second quarterback also let you down.
In this league.
Who would you rather have, though, in a typical week? Keenan Allen or Garrett Wilson?
Well, I know Keenan Allen's history, and he's always burned me. I have him on one of my other teams, but I went with Garrett Wilson because of Aaron Rodgers, and you know, he hasn't been horrible, but again, not a number 1. he's Garrett Wilson is a number 2 or 3, just like Calvin Ridley, in my opinion.
Yep.
And so I have no true
That's the thing.
1 or 2 on my team.
For wide receivers.
Yeah.
And Zay Flowers, you kind of, he's in that same boat.
He's always been on my bench. I don't think I've had him in for any game where he scored anything.
He might be your wide receiver 1 with how his floor is. His floor,
well, he never got the touchdown.
Right.
He got the ball, got a bunch of yards, but yards are like, yards are yards.
You know what's wild though? You rode Bryce Young this week.
Yeah, only 8 points, right?
And Jake Browning's ran by Shamans, and he's getting 24. But you got the win. You pulled off the win. Never.
Yeah, I was happy.
Chargers, great pickup.
Yeah, sometimes you hit a winner, and sometimes you strike out.
What is going on with Fibonacci, man? Does this guy have a chance?
Unsequencing, I'm going to create a new word. Disunsequencing. So just to throw all of you off.
Yeah.
Nobody could word check will lose its mind over that. Disunsequencing. But hey, he can get hot. I'm pretty sure he can make the playoffs, but if he loses out, he could be in trouble, right? I'm not sure.
All right.
What's his spot in the playoff?
He's got a chance here, but he's going to slide down to 7-6, and Goon Squad's going to move on to 5-8. Like I said, you might have a backdoor option to the playoffs because we have a Week 14 regular season.
There ain't no way I'm going to make. I know it says I have a possibility, but monkeys will fly from my butt before I make the playoffs.
All right, we'll do a quick news recap, and we'll take a quick break. And then we'll take a quick break. That'll be our plan here. But Austin loses Tank Dell. How big is that for Austin?
And the quarterback for the Jags could be out significantly.
That could be huge. Yeah. But it affects a team who's not in the playoffs and Herbie.
Well, I think Tank Dell, was obviously a late waiver pickup, and hopefully with the return of Justin Jefferson will offset that.
Sorry about that, folks.
It's all good.
All right. Give me 1 second here. I have 2 more little pieces of news here.
Is the game over yet?
The game is not yet over, but it does.
They're high-fiving somebody.
Overtime rules! Ah! We got overtime. That's freaking sick.
Bruce could be in trouble.
All right. Yeah. Well, before we go to break, I wanted to ask you about this Dre Greenlaw and Dom DeSandro getting into it on the sideline. What do you think goes on there?
Comical at best, but the football player I think knew what he was doing the whole time, and whether the Philadelphia Eagle security chief taunted him or not, I'm not sure, but it's clear that who struck who. If I was the Philadelphia guy, I would have fell down then at that point, like Oswald shot me. But I also hate to tear a pork chop out of his hand.
Oh, man. All right, boys and girls, we're going to go to break.
Boy.
We'll catch you guys on the other side of the break. Have a good one. We'll see you guys on the other side. Have a nice one for me. For Uncle Jay. We're back.
Yes, we're back.
We're back for part 2. Nice little break. I like that idea, Uncle Joe. We might use that for future podcasts. A little commercial break halfway through.
When you invite an old geezer like me over, I got to take a pee break.
Oh, I love that. And we get to take a peek here. Jamaican Shamans have a shot to upset Bruce.
It's still
Jake Browning with the ball.
Uh-oh. Will Chase TD,
oh my, that would ruin his day. And would that do it? Power Rockets are beating Danny. What happened? What? When did that happen? Brandon McNanis put up 7 points. Joe Mixon's got 26.
Wow.
Power Walkers are pulling out the dub. No longer is a Danky Punch. They're actually going to be 8-5.
Well, it's not over yet.
But well, they don't have anybody playing.
You don't have anything that points overnight, that.
Right, there could be an error correction.
Yeah.
You never know. But at the moment, he's winning by less than 0.2 points.
Wow.
Power Walkers might
nail biter.
slide out to 9-4.
Wow.
An update on our earlier update. Man, Danky Punch could potentially slide to 8-5. Power Walkers to 9-4, which would be huge. He'd have a stranglehold.
10-3.
We'd be 10-3. And if I had beaten Zeke, he's got a chance to become number 1 still.
Wow.
So that does tighten up the reins on second place, unfortunately.
We're gonna have to publish that picture of Zeke and a goat if we're gonna get any action.
Wow. And of course, we look back over here.
Sorry,
Shamans and Bruce have a shot as well.
Wow.
Unreal.
Wow.
But
Joe Mixon, TD passed to Joe Mixon. Wow.
And there's been no other significant changes. Machines just gains a couple extra points.
Wait a minute. They're bringing Joe Burrow in.
No, Shaman's already dropped him.
Wow.
Oh, no, he didn't. He's right there in the IR. There he is. Wow,
wishful thinking.
We'll monitor this as the rest of the podcast goes.
Did someone keep Aaron Rodgers on their bench?
Yeah, I think he did. I think that's multiple scoregasms for week 16.
You get 3 IR spots.
Yeah, is that too many?
Nah, I think you should have unlimited. You got if your guy is out,
if your stud's out,
any of your players,
right?
Again, you shouldn't be penalized from bye weeks or injuries. The pros aren't. The real teams aren't penalized.
Well, you also have an interesting point about that where you say you don't believe in negative points.
Yeah, losing points, that doesn't happen in real games either.
All right, we'll save that for the middle part of what we're going to get into. But let's get into Week 14 predictions.
Wait, let me hit the skull bong before we go into Week 14. All right, I'm good.
Boom. All right, social propaganda, Jamaican Shamans on the books for next week. Who do you think takes it down?
Ooh, let's see.
Don't pay attention to the bottom because people don't really know who they're playing this week.
I want to see their players.
Well, I mean, like you might be seeing their best players, right?
What is the projection? Can I see that?
The projection, they don't have the projection right now.
Oh.
They just have check marks, and it looks like the check marks lie on my side.
Can I at least peek at the lineup?
There's the projections. I'm sorry, Uncle Jay. They do have projections.
Okay. So 119
I don't know why I have Jeff Wilson.
79.
I don't know why I have Jeff Wilson in, but
wow, somebody's a 40-point dog in this, but anyway.
It's Shamans.
All right. Well, I mean, Shamans have been weak all season, like me, and social propaganda. My oldest nephew here.
Cheers, everybody.
Team Goebbels with the
Team Goebbels.
keep repeating a lie, and it's true.
The bigger the lie, the more true it sounds.
Where are your papers, Bo Carter?
Where are your papers?
Anyway.
Shamans. Where are your papers, Jamaican Shamans? You say you're from Jamaica? Well, we shall see about that.
The Shamans will need a lot of weed to beat social propaganda next week.
Let's move on to the next. I agree with that assessment. Best match. It's best physique of the week. First place taking on one of the last place contenders. Big old titties.
Been hot though. They must have a new nipple ring or something going on because they've been on a roll with a lot of points. But certainly physique has.
We got a 48-yard attempt here for the game.
Oh, it's a winner. It's a winner.
That's a game.
So there's the final.
Bengals win it, but what goes on?
Oh, wait, laundry.
There's laundry. And it looks like Jamaican Shaman's still 2 points behind as we just check in on there. And
they're still
Power Walkers extend their lead.
Wow, he had the kicker too?
No, he's Jacksonville kicker.
It's against the other team. Decline. Game's over.
Game's over. Good. Kick good. All right, that's this week in the bag. So Power Walkers.
So Bruce squeaked out, and Power Walker squeaked ahead.
Wow! Live during the show, Power Walkers squeaked ahead. That's why it's fun shooting it live.
Yeah, wow,
that is fun.
That was an exciting end.
And Shamans just merrily misses Bruce. Look, it just finished right before our eyes. It just went to final.
Wow, first road win on Monday night since 1990. Wow.
Incredible. Oh, I'm sorry.
Wow, I was still hitting the pipe back then. Holy.
Sorry, everybody. We're in the middle of the Week 14 predictions here. But best physique of the week taking on Big Ol' Titties.
Yeah,
I think best physique's going to take this. Yeah.
Well, you know,
but he's worried. Big Ol' Titties has been on a tear, as you rightfully brought up.
Yeah, everything's all cylinders have been firing. All the memories have been.
Big Ol' Titties put up 145 this week to Zeke's 132. I mean.
But Zeke has been putting up triple digits every week.
He's the only one left, to be honest.
You know,
and salute to him. I was the last one left in the club.
Everybody, Physique is the man, is the team to beat right now.
He is.
Yeah.
He's got the three-headed monster.
No, I don't know what his penis looks like.
He's got he's got the three-headed monster we call Cerebus, Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, and Travis Kelce.
Wow.
The Reeksta.
You know, again, you know, I tip my hat. You know, he's been the team to beat.
How about Jake Browning getting 24 points?
Yeah, that's again, whoever picked him up.
Shamans almost got the win because of it. 26 points from Jake Browning.
I've been sleeping because you've been just beating me to the punch with these guys. I've never dealt with the free agent bucks before, but I'd always felt good just shooting the load right away.
Do you think we have enough free agent bucks? $100?
No, it's something to consider. $100 should be right.
Should be, and it's been it actually feels right because
you have to be prudent to keep it all season.
People have been smarter this season. People have been smarter and more judicious with it this season. I feel like.
Obviously, it's paying off for some teams. It's a strategy to employ, without a doubt. Can't be overlooked.
Next match. This one's mega playoff implications. Sharp Finger's going to be 5-8. Union Pure Machine's going to be 6-7. They're both calling in at points 4.
Wow.
Sharp Fingers gets Justin Jefferson back. Could he put up 24 points with Joshua Dobbs as his quarterback?
No, he would need Fran Tarkington, you know, or Kirk Cousins, but with Dobbs, well, at least not against the Bears game. Hell, I could have intercepted him. I can't see how they start Dobbs. You know, his magic has run out for this season, I think. But we'll see. You know,
but Gardner Minshew seems to be strengthening.
You know, a guy I wish I would have had at one point. You know, I've been playing the QB2 carousel all season. Hell, I was ready to cut Jordan Love a couple times.
And he's QB10.
Yeah, I know. You know.
Well, let's take a look at Austin's here. Jared Goff, he made the trade, and we were talking in the break. You guys didn't get to hear it, but he traded Justin Fields for Jared Goff, and to be honest, it's kind of worked out.
Well,
for both parties, in fact.
Sharp Fingers has dealt with a zillion injuries. You know, even if he kept Fields, you know, Fields would have been out, you know, for 4 weeks.
You know what's crazy, though? Fields ends up on Jeffrey's team, Power Walkers, because Bruce... Power Walkers heat up going to the playoffs. They get freaking Justin Fields and Patrick. That is real.
Wait, time out. There's your tinfoil hat conspiracy. How does the commissioner get one of the best teams? What's going on?
What's going on there?
Wait a minute. I'm gonna blame Obama, or better yet, I'm blaming Clinton. All right, Hillary Clinton. Her emails gave
Justin
Power Walkers
to this team. That's ridiculous. But before we get there, let's take a look at multiple score. Let's take a look at Sharp Fingers versus Union Pure Machines. We were talking about them. They got playoff implication. Who do you think takes this week?
Well, you know, Jack's team has been hot up and down. He's got Dak. He's got some studs.
He's been putting up 124 or 150 lately.
Well,
Jack.
You know,
Austin's been putting up 80 or 100. I got to go with Machine.
Yeah, the Machines are well oiled. The Sharp Fingers have
they clip their nails.
Yeah, the Sharp Fingers have been declawed. You know, maybe Sharp Fingers, the manager, should consider changing the name next season as well. You know, but I like that, you know, opportunity to change the name. I really do.
I like his name, though. Sharp Fingers is awesome.
Cool
it's a great name. You know, it's a legendary story. Do you know the story?
Yeah, well,
do you know the story?
Well, I saw the images that him and Jack...
It's based on a true story.
Is it like a Dungeons and Dragons or
well, since we're on his name, I'll give you guys a quick little league history.
I like the capital FNGA.
Quick little history lesson. But one time long ago, Austin's young little buck, him, Jeffrey, and a couple of Jeffrey's buddies and a couple of the neighborhood kids were off sledding at the neighborhood hill. Okay. And Jeffrey and his buddies are there, and Austin's there, kind of with them, kind of by himself, just grabbing his little sled and just going up and down the mountain. He's happy.
Being Austin.
And so some of Austin's quote unquote buddies came around, and they were Austin's, loose friends because they were in the neighborhood, but they're kind of Austin's bullies, really. But so what ended up happening, they asked Austin to share his sled. He shared it. He shared it with them. He let them go up and down a few times. And then they kept going up and down. And Austin was like, hey guys, can I get my sled back? And they said no. And they went up and they dared to go up and down one more time. They went up and down one more time. Austin was sitting there. He couldn't believe himself. He's like, I was being nice, and these guys are being so mean. And they started making fun of Austin. They started laughing at him and mocking him while they were on his sled. Well, what happened when they came down? They came down, they fell off their sled. Austin walked up, grabbed the sled. They walked up to, they fell off the sled. He ran, he walked up, grabbed the sled, started walking home. They all ran at him. They ran and started and tackled Austin, took the sled up and started taking it back up the mountain. Austin got, after 3 kids dogpiled him, one of them was 200 pounds and Austin was maybe 80 at the time. Austin gets up after getting basically speared into the ground by the ringleader of the group. And they're all laughing, they're giggling, they got their sled over their shoulder. They're about to take it back up to the top of the hill because they got Austin's sled. Austin gets up. Jeffrey and his buddy are watching at the top of the hill. They're in the midst of about to run down. Jeffrey's like, he's beside himself. He's like, you're not doing that to me. He's far enough that he has not yet registered what's going on. He's watching it happen and he's still in shock because of what's going on. Austin gets up, walks up to this first guy, grabs him with his sharp finger on his chin, pulls his chin over to him and greets his face with a fist of rage and justice. The first guy is down in the snow. The second guy turns, he's surprised. Austin looks at him, says, nay, nay, bam, right to the kisser. Punches that kid right in the face, second kid down. Then guess what's left? It's the fucking meanest guy in the school. The meanest kid who's always giving Austin fucking guff. It's the 200-pound, it's the orc. It's the boss of the level. And Austin's got his upgrades going on. He looks at him, and this guy, the orc, starts shitting bricks. Austin walks up to him, bam! One punch to the gut, bam! One punch to the face. The kid's struggling. Austin grabs him once again with his sharp finger. Again. It started off with his sharp finger, and it ends with the sharp finger. He leads his chin right into looking at Austin, and then clocks him with his fist, uppercut, bam, to the chin, knocked the kid out. Didn't knock him out, but knocked him to the ground. Kid's down. They're all crying. They're all sobbing from this little 80-pound-year-old kid who was smaller than all of them. Austin picks up his sled and walks home.
Wow.
And Jeffrey, before he could lift a finger, before him and his buddies, they were about to lift a finger. They thought they might have to lift a finger. Before they had to lift a finger, Austin, with his sharp finger, snuffed them out. And that's a little story about sharp fingers.
Ta-da. All right, on to the next game.
Next game, multiple scoregasms versus Danky Punch, 2-10. Scoregasm's been on a bit of a heater here, 3-10.
High score is high score, bitches.
And Danky loses this week. He's going to slide to 8-5 in a stunner.
Yeah.
Last second stunner.
Danky, has a good lineup too. He's got the MVP, James Conner, maybe the Cardinals are going to make some noise. Danky's in it. He's obviously playoff bound. I believe, Danky will move forward.
At the moment, he's predicted to be fourth.
But he's playing Fibonacci.
For the potential playoff.
Yeah, that's too far ahead.
That's too far ahead.
Yeah.
All right, but so Danky Punch though, if he's gonna slide to 8-5. He's gonna stay in fourth place then.
I'm going. Oh, with Trevor Lawrence out, yeah, I'm going with Danky.
Oh, that's true. Trevor Lawrence is done.
And Marquise Brown,
he might be done too.
He's got a question mark.
What's going on there?
He cut his leg shaving. What
14th
happened?
week bye. Oh, he done.
Oh,
all
right.
Can't rely on him.
Squaregasm will be in trouble.
Their heater's over.
Their heater. The Viagra wore off.
The Blue Chew is done.
The Blue Chew has left the building.
And Team Danky Punch probably gets the dub there. We'll move on to the next match. My name's Bruce. And Fibonacci. This big playoff implications. Big playoff seeding implications.
I think, IMO, I think both of these teams will make the playoffs. Fibonacci has a good team on paper.
You beat the piss out of them this week.
I know, but they all underperformed. 60
points for the second time this year.
But, Bruce, my name has been able to assemble a roster, and I always scratch my head at his strategy of benching all his players so nobody knows what he's got. And my last message on this WhatsApp with him is, hey, dude, all your players are on the bench from last season. But anyway,
what's wild is take a look at their previous matchup. 1 point difference.
Wow. Oh, I didn't. Hey, well, that maybe that will come into play, maybe not. But I like Bruce in this matchup only because Fibonacci is unsequencing as we right in front of our eyes.
The unsequencing of Fibonacci.
It's like uncombobulated. I think that was a George Bush or Jesse Jackson word.
The spiral is unspinning.
Uncombobulated. Google that. That was a great word. So I like unsequencing or disunsequencing. I tried the word search on the phone lost its mind.
The last game of the week, and that happens to be you. Power Walkers and my squad. This could affect
my middle
seeding.
nephew. Oh shit!
I'm hoping you could knock down the Power Walkers here.
I'm gonna throw everything I can.
You don't sound too confident.
Well, my team sucked all year.
Yeah.
But I will try to throw a...
Look what you did the first time you guys played. 122 is nothing to slouch up, but he put up 161.
Yeah.
He's got Justin Fields now.
Well, he's gonna cut his leg shaving too. But only because I'm an optimist, I think I'm gonna take down the Power Walkers. I'm gonna throw the banana peel under the front wheel, the front leg of the walker. And we're going to neutralize the dynamo that is Team Power Walkers. Ladies and gentlemen, the Power Walkers.
They're going down. All right, boys and girls. So that's week 14 predictions in the book. We got a couple more segments before we go away here, but let's look at the playoff projections here. And I know it might be a little hard to look for Uncle Jay this year, with him not projected in it, but he still has a sneaky back doorway in.
Oh, this view again. Okay.
But at the moment, this is what
James has a cool setup down here.
This is potentially what the playoffs are looking like.
All right.
With potentially either I would say either you or Sharp Fingers having an outside chance of sneaking in as the 7th seed.
You're losing your mind, James. Drink another old fashioned.
It's Manhattan.
Shadooby shattered all over Manhattan. All right. Well, yeah. So this is the setup. Zeke gets a bye. Sequence against Danky Machine Social Propaganda Bruce. Wow. It's good to be Zeke. That's all I could say.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it? He gets Fibonacci or Danky.
Yeah.
Like as their second opponent. Like it makes me almost want. Should I tank?
Should I tank?
Should I tank? So I take Zeke because that might be my best chance. Do I really want to take on Power Walkers? My name's Bruce. Union Peer Machines. Look at this division with me in it. We're all fucking dogs. Union Peer Machines, Social Propaganda. My name's Bruce. Power Walkers. I'd say those are the 4 most dangerous. outside of Zeke.
Well,
Fibonacci and Danke, they're frauds in my opinion.
No, Danke has some shit going on. Fibonacci's, falling apart. Again, not his fault. The team falls apart.
Right.
Obviously, no fault of his own. But
Well, he dropped half of his guys. Did you see that graphic where he dropped like half of his team and half his team got picked up and they were doing pretty. Devin Achane,
looking at this
Gabe Davis,
physique on a bye, sequence against Danke. You have the toughest matchup against Jack.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's how I see it.
Jack is not like a
Bruce is a tough team.
Jack is better
Bruce
than Danke.
Bruce has been on a slow roll, in my opinion.
I would rate Bruce and Jack for my power. Let's talk power rankings while we're here. Because
I think
Zeke brought it up.
The Walkers have a strong team. I mean, your team is strong, but
where would you rank? Let's go to the power rankings.
You're going to have the toughest slug against the Union Pier Machine.
This is the Zeke's power rankings. Would you agree with it? Right now, Zeke.
Would
you agree with Zeke's power rankings? Zeke is number 1 in the power rankings. Number 2 would be Jeffrey Power
Bottoms.
Number 3 would be social propaganda. I rate myself above Power Walkers, but that's me. So I would say I'm number 2, Jeff's number 3, but that's me personally.
Wow, that's pretty accurate.
But I did lose this week.
Yeah, still, you're not falling out of that top 5.
And Jeffrey won and Zeke won, so I can't be number 2.
Little Tommy's in the most trouble right now, and again, no fault of his own.
Hee-Haw's Danke Punch, and Star Slut's Austin.
Star Slut is Austin?
Star Slut's is
wow.
Sharp Fingers.
But
you're number 9 at the Goon Squad. You thought you were Star Slut?
I paid good money for a Star Slut once.
You thought you were Star Slut?
No, I didn't think I was.
Who else would be Star Slut? Because it's either you or Austin.
Well, I didn't. I knew I wasn't on that list.
So it must be Austin.
Well, I UP not what they seems. So that would be Machines.
Right. 3rd, 7th.
Fraudacci. Zeke,
I don't agree with this. So here's my power rankings. My power rankings would be Zeke, Jeffrey, James, Machines, Bruce, Danke, Fibonacci. Fibonacci's bottom of my ranking.
Yeah, he's of that sequence. He's at the bottom.
Of the top 7.
Well, of all those teams that are playoff bound, he's in the most trouble. I think
he's the most trouble. I think Danke Punch is the second most trouble.
No, well, he's got some mojo here and there. And why has Zeke called him Spanky Punch yet?
Spanky Punch?
Or put up a picture of Spanky from the Little Rascals?
Well, Danke Punch, they have
got a good
Hurts,
team. I get. He's got the MVP.
He's got the MVP. He's got one of the great players.
Running back, but he's got a bunch of wide receivers.
I think you're sleeping on me. Take a look at these ranks: 11, 16, 5, 2.
When I saw
1, Josh Allen.
When I saw Dank Shadow's team, running back looks like his weakest link.
Oh, Brian Robinson, that's going to hurt losing him.
Yeah,
he's number 5 running back in the league.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not joking.
I didn't know that. Wow, I got to pay better attention.
Brees Hall 16, and I got, I have some okay running backs here.
I did not know the guy with the gunshot wound is
RB5.
That's
in the league.
Insane.
I'm telling you.
Who's got my beer? What happened?
You get a new one there.
Sorry.
No worries. Hey, all you gotta do is open the fridge. We're good to go here.
Yeah. Fucking slide over.
Uncle Jay's in the nice little sliding chair.
James, do you mind if I pee?
No. I mean, in the corner or upstairs in the bathroom?
I'm just gonna soil myself.
We got a diaper if you need it.
I gotta finish this segment here.
All right, we could take a little break here if you need to.
Well, let's keep rolling. Where are we at now? The playoffs.
We're talking playoffs.
Yeah. I've been drinking heavily and smoking a lot of legal weed for all you FBI narcs at a biker rally crowd. But yeah, that's how I saw it as it was today, December 4th, 2023.
For sure. Yeah,
That was my best Howard Cosell.
I feel pretty strongly about that.
So where are we at now? So we did the playoffs. New second league.
Well, do you want to take a quick break, or do you want to move on to the next part here?
No,
Let's take a quick break here, boys and girls, and we'll catch up to you on the other side of the flip.
Yep. Peace out. Sun is setting here in James's basement. Bad beats coming up.
Okay, what if you were like a shock jock radio guy? Like, who's that
Howard Stern.
But Howard Stern and
Steve Dahl.
Oh, Steve Dahl was amazing.
Yeah, well, he was number 2 always behind Howard Stern. But I was at the Disco Demolition game at the old Comiskey Park.
That he inspired.
Oh, he was there. He blew up records. They lit on fire, and the place went nuts.
That's fucking
Between
wild.
games, it was insane.
All right, guys, we're here to close out the podcast. We want to talk to you about a little bit of a new league that Uncle Jay is going to be the commissioner.
Yeah, I always.
We talked about it last year. We talked about it last season. We talked about with Stephanie exiting the league. We're like, hey, maybe we need a second league. Maybe we need something where it's like
Love to have Stephanie back. And Kyle both have
where maybe it's a little less serious, but at the same time, maybe it has all sorts of different rules. And here's what Uncle Jay was thinking. Well, we got a little bit of a picture on the side. What are you thinking here?
Well, yeah, the big thing is no negative points, no losing points for any reason. It's always about accumulating points, but I see ESPN allows, coach points and punter points and defensive player points. So we were adding those categories, and, we were limiting the skill position spots to 1 each. That way there's always more players in the waiver pool to pick up, when your player goes down.
Well, what's an interesting wrinkle in your league is what I think you're thinking. What happens when it's bye week for your guy? Say I have CMC and I'm winning, I'm kicking, but I don't want to cut this guy. Or what if I have a guy who is in that middling range where it's Tony Pollard? Maybe he's RB 13 some weeks, RB 22 some weeks, and I'm like, and Josh Gibbs is out there. What do I do?
Well,
in that league,
a new wrinkle was not eliminating the bench, but using the bench for bye week players only. Because you shouldn't have to lose a player you like to a bye week. That's my big thing.
That's an interesting point. So say you have Jalen Hurts, you have Josh Allen.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to lose Jalen Hurts, CMC, any stud player. You should be able to put on a bench, and put someone else in, the next best player.
But an interesting wrinkle in your league
on the waiver wire.
But an interesting wrinkle in your league you were talking about was, maybe we have one keeper. I know this.
I do like the keeper. It's
one
intriguing.
keeper.
One keeper. Well, somebody that has 2 might dominate the league.
But how do you do
it's
bye
an
weeks?
Experiment.
So if you have to count bye weeks, then you aren't cutting your wide receiver.
Right. You shouldn't be penalized and have to lose a player you like to a bye week.
Interesting.
So,
and you're saying no negative points.
No negative points.
No bye week hurt.
No bye week hurt for
for kicker, for
defense,
whatever you want to keep.
Anytime there's a bye week, you get to put that player on your bench. And that way that's why we're not having a bench, to have more players available in the pool. The waiver wire.
That makes
sense.
And what?
Not to be penalized, for having, a bye week or an injury. The IR will expand to 4. You shouldn't be penalized for losing a player.
You have 9 starters, 1 QB, one running back, 1 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 defensive stud, 1 defense, 1 kicker, 1 punter, 1 head coach.
Yeah.
And then you do have what we don't have illustrated here, but you would have a bye week bench for any guy on your bye week. He'd be there on the bench that you don't have to go get rid of him. However, you can't carry 2 running backs unless it's the bye week, right?
Yes. Well, again, you only have 1 running back, so if it's his bye week, you put him on the bye week bench. and you pick up the next best available running back.
So otherwise, it's a no bench league.
No bench league.
It's a no bench league, but a bye week league.
Yeah, bye week and injury. That's it.
That's really interesting wrinkles.
That's how the real NFL works.
And,
you know,
and I know other people in the league wanted to bring other wrinkles into, like you said,
They
a keeper, or in addition to a second game of the week, like what Bruce was talking about. What were you thinking about that?
I like that scoring option. You know,
instead of a points for wild card.
Yeah, that's another option to consider. You know, I'd like every team involved in this new league to throw in a wrinkle of their own. That way they feel they contributed.
That'd be interesting.
You know, it's about including everybody for one rule each. But since I'm the commissioner, I'm doing the starting stuff. And James is the co-commissioner. You need two people at the knobs of this thing. So, you know, but we'll figure all that out down the road. But
there's a couple interesting wrinkles.
I'd like to invite all the, you know, if it's 12 teams, the same 12 teams that are in the first Union Peer League,
and we could have more than 12 teams.
That's the name of it, is the Union Peer Beer League 2. That's the name of the league.
We can't have promotion relegation, like we were, right? Uncle Jay was talking about maybe he was saying, hey, what if we had the worst team gets demoted? We don't have enough.
No, that's too crazy.
But something like this will be fun. So there's a couple little interesting wrinkles. You were talking about potentially a auction.
Yeah, instead of a snake draft,
because there's so few players.
Well, an auction draft changes the dynamic totally.
And you go grab your stud.
But you'll always be able to fill out your roster, you know, but it's a different strategy approach. And we could talk about that too. You know, the snake draft is the easiest. But with an auction, you can get any player you want.
Especially if you're only playing one QB.
Right.
One running back.
Yeah.
One wide receiver. One tight end.
You know, with that in mind, I do like the auction approach because you can buy any player you like. And I always rather have a player I like than being at a certain draft spot in the snake draft. But I always plan ahead for the snake drafts, so I know what players are available when I'm drafting. But
it's an interesting wrinkle.
Different. Yeah, it's different. I don't know if anyone else has done an auction before, but it's something to consider with this league.
Well, because we're only playing one player, right?
Exactly.
And so you're saying one IR spot, and it's a no bench league plus
4 IR spots. No bench.
No bench
for the bye week.
Only for bye week players.
Yeah,
if your guy's not a bye week.
You can keep your whole team that you bought.
And an interesting wrinkle would be, like you said, a potentially one keeper over the end of the season.
Yeah, well, into the next season. Hopefully, there's a way to keep that all on file.
Other people adding to the league.
Blockchain technology.
Right.
Maybe we can have...
No, they have the technology for Keeper League and ESPN.
Maybe we can have Danke create a program for us.
No, we have the technology. All of this
ESPN's got this shit.
So, and so another interesting wrinkle that I like, it's interesting, and it was hard to sell me on, but in this league, for Danke, but it is no negative points.
Right, no negative.
Why?
Well, it just, for me... It takes some of the joy out.
It does.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, we have no control over any of this. And again, it's about accumulating points. So to me, there should be no negative points at all.
Two other wrinkles you want to talk about. You wanted it to be a cheaper entry fee, and you wanted it to cost money for each acquisition.
Yes, the waiver transaction is $1. So it adds it to a community pot. We would lower the entry fee maybe to $50 or $75, but we can discuss that too.
Will we do a high score of the week? We wouldn't have to do it. We wouldn't have to do any of the sort of rules that we do in our other league. It could be different rules.
Right. Different
like you
wrinkles.
Said,
and then there has to be a consolation round for the teams that don't make the playoffs. And again, all to be considered. But again,
so it's an interesting wrinkle you were talking about, because you were talking about in the past leagues, in baseball leagues, where my dad was Steinbrenner and
Steingreiter,
and not that we want to encourage that in this league, but that contributes to the pot.
Oh, it does,
right?
James L. Greiter was notorious for cutting some good players too early. and then but there's always plenty of waiver players available in baseball. But we all make mistakes, even in football or any other fantasy league. I see guys that I cut on someone else's team, and they're doing well with them. But again, in the other league, the 8-man league, the smaller league, those guys are on the waivers. They're not. No one's got them, but.
So that's what's interesting about the league that you're suggesting, that you're going to be the commissioner of.
Oh, yes.
And that you've never been a commissioner of before.
No, big responsibility.
But, these are interesting wrinkles. And you were saying you want people to contribute, maybe throw some ideas out there.
I would like each team to throw an idea or two that we can consider, that the different scoring thing that Bruce brought up, I'd be willing to consider as the main driver. And 2
games a week.
Now that'd be an interesting week.
Imagine
a double there's 2 games a week. Yeah,
and you have your bye week player, so it's
that would even increase scoring dramatically,
wouldn't it?
Wow. Now I understand the concept. Holy shit. Wow, it's getting late.
So that's wild, boys and girls. All right, guys, it's getting late. Everybody, thank you, Uncle Jay. What a freaking
it's been
podcast!
Great to be here. I'll be back again.
Someday.
Wearing no pants.
All right, everybody. Uncle Jay, we're going to close the podcast with what's your words of wisdom for everybody for the week?
For week 14?
Doesn't have to be too intense.
Oh, well, I don't know if I'm in a position to do that, but, for me, I do this to entertain myself. It's always more entertaining when you're winning or contending, but...
But the podcast keeps it interesting.
Well, that certainly does, but that was why the wrinkle of the consolation league. So the teams that are out of it, at least while the playoff teams are playing, they have something to play for, and still, there's a little money to be won.
Well, you were
offset your waiver wire acquisition.
You were even saying in our main league, maybe we cut off next year. Maybe we cut off a game. And maybe we cut off a little bit of the top prize money. We spread that out elsewhere. Well, right? Again, what were you thinking?
I'm not the commissioner of the league.
What was your ideas there? If you don't want, you got the floor.
Well, it's the same ideas I'm introducing.
We don't want the same though. We want different. Remember, so.
Well, then you need to think of different rules, but it's certainly something to consider. Any money, financial change to the waiver wire system or anything. I'm kind of stumped here, James.
The auction is going to be incredible. I'm just thinking,
it has potential.
So we
don't have a sign to save me, James.
We don't have to tweak too much in our main league, but like you said, we could actually start adding these tweaks that we're thinking about to the other league,
right?
And maybe try them out there sometimes.
I love the experimental part idea. It should always be open to change. Not everyone's going to be happy, not everyone's going to be sad, but, getting, folks that be entertained by what we offer, just like the original Union Peer Beer League, is the goal.
I think you had a point with the second league.
I like playing with you guys. I like the thread.
I love our thread.
It's always entertaining.
Imagine owning a second team with these fucking yahoos.
Well, we would have to start a second thread related to this league, so we don't lose track. But that's another podcast. That was an easy call.
We're talking about Florida State.
And Texas is the team that should have been shortchanged if Florida was the team. Then there was 4 undefeated.
Texas should have been out
if Florida State had their stud quarterback.
Wow.
The guy that didn't break his leg, because Texas has a loss.
But you're saying Florida State should have made it over Texas.
Florida State should have been in there only if they had their MVP quarterback. Yep. But because they lost him, I agree with the guys pulling the strings. Nobody wants to watch that defensive struggle.
No.
And they're not as good as they are with the stud quarterback.
But Uncle Jay,
that's the big difference.
What if this next FSU quarterback's the next Tom Brady?
He could be, but right now they're not as good as they would have been with the stud quarterback. True. So that is the consideration I would be making to choose the teams. But to me, Texas, again, because somehow Texas got the nod. But again, if they had their stud, if FSU had the stud QB, they should be in there, not Texas.
But Texas has a loss. Why do they deserve over Alabama?
Well, Alabama has a loss too, but they beat the number one.
They beat
team.
Georgia.
Yeah, they beat the number one team. Is the bottom.
And they didn't even include Georgia. Georgia's not even in there.
And they're not complete.
How nuts.
Yeah, because they lost one game and they're out of the championship round, but next year it goes to 12. They won't have this argument.
Wow, it goes to 12 next year?
12, from 4 to 12.
Do you think that's good?
It doesn't matter what I think.
Do you like it?
Doesn't matter if I like it. It's in this scenario, usually the best team is going to come to the top.
Mm-hmm.
Unlikely some Cinderella, Loyola, Northern Illinois.
Northwestern doesn't have a shot in hell.
Never. They'll never win another. The teams that are there traditionally are going to run the show.
Ohio State, Michigan.
The Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, and the other team, Georgia, will be there every year. I gotta go.
All right, Uncle Jay, it's been a blast.
That's another podcast.
We gotta check out, James.
All right, everybody, thank you so much, Uncle Jay, for joining us here on the podcast. We'll catch you guys next time.
Bedtime.
Punt that like button for Uncle Jay, everybody. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one.